Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Sorry, I thought I heard the kids outside the room praying that we actually have one day where they don't interrupt us. Wouldn't that be amazing? So I want to thank all of you guys who have been holding on through my kids interrupting us the past few weeks. I definitely want to thank you and just express my gratitude for the fact that you are doing that. And still tuning in despite the distractions. Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for joining today. I am really excited to talk about this topic because it's funny how things just align. And as I was, I decided to talk about this, and then I did my I Ching for the morning and it aligned with it. So it tells me that this is a really important topic that I think a lot of us need to be reminded of sometimes. So I'm going to just jump right in. Good morning, Lori. Because again, we may get an interruption. If you missed the beginning, you can always watch again. I'm also on YouTube. Colleen Markham is my YouTube name, so I'm live there as well. If you are messing around on YouTube later, find me, subscribe to me, and I might even start doing another webcam too, so it's going to get a little crazy up in here. So, hey, Tony, I'm so glad to have you. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So what is inspired action? What does that mean? So first and foremost, I want to ask you, have you ever experienced regret? Have you ever had a moment where you look back at something and you think, I really wish I had done this, but you didn't? And do you ever look back at your life and wonder what would have happened if you had taken that opportunity, that job, that relationship, if you had acted differently? So regret is certainly a very powerful emotion, and it's also a very damaging emotion because guess what? We can't go back. We can't go back. We can't change the past. We're here now. With that comes the realization that nevertheless, in this moment, we have a way of making sure that we don't feel regret in the future. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we take inspired action. So let me just share with you guys my true life story. So when my son was 18 months old, I had a daycare. And that daycare was so hard. I mean, at first I thought it was the perfect idea. In fact, I bought my house with that in mind, that I would end up having a daycare. And it was so funny the way that I got that house because it fell through for another buyer and then it came back to us and we kept comparing every house to that house. We got the house and we actually signed for our house in the hospital the day my son was born. So my firstborn. So it was a crazy, crazy experience. It was so intense, but it worked out really well actually. And I had a daycare there for about 18 months. And while I was running this daycare, I found myself being like, what am I doing? This is so hard. And I'm not, as much as I love being home with my son and making a living from my house, I felt like, I just wasn't aligned with my purpose and my passion. And I just knew that I wasn't really tapping into all of my possibilities, all of my skills and strengths. So one of my friends, one of her friends on Facebook posted, looking for someone to work in the health and wellness field, 10 to 15 hours a week, unlimited income potential, working from home. And I'm like, this is too good to be true. But I reached out to her anyways. That was my first inspired action. So because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's one of the indicators, right? So then once I reached out to her, she was like, well, let me come to you. I'll tell you more about this. It's a company called Arbonne. I'm like, nope. This is one of those network marketing schemes. It's a pyramid. It's not, it's not going to work for me or whatever I thought. I had all these huge blocks and huge obstacles around it. But she came over anyways, and she sat me down and she told me about the nutrition products, which is really what got me into it. And within 10 minutes, I was like, my wheels were spinning. But I still wanted to cling to this, like, no, this isn't for me. So it took me almost a week. But the thing was, during that whole week, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I remember someone saying something along the lines of, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And I just knew that if I wanted a life that was different than what I had then, I was going to have to make a shift and make a change and step into a different direction. So I did, and it changed my life. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my network marketing business. It taught me how to be confident in myself. It taught me how to really treat personal development as something that is first and foremost in my life. It taught me how to speak to clients, how to connect, how to sell, how to close, how to stay in touch, how to be a really good, customer service representative, because that's really what all of life is taking care of your clients and the people that you have in your funnel in your life. And it just taught me so much. And the fact that it also showed me that it's possible to make a living doing something you love from home. And that is now my passion, is teaching other people how to do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be network marketing. It can be anything, but we all have the potential to make money working from home these days, because of the internet, because of the amazing shifts that are happening on a global scale around technology. Anyone can do this. Anyone can work from home and make millions. And that is my passion now. Don't get me wrong. I still sell Arbonne. Arbonne is still a huge part of my life, and it always will be. But it's actually become a vehicle for me. It's not my be all end all. So if you're looking at something in your life right now and it just keeps popping up and you're like, oh, I really want to do that. I really should do that. Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's, writing that book or starting that book you've always wanted to write, or maybe it's, getting together with a friend, whatever these things are that just keep popping up in your head. They can be big, they can be small. We need to learn to trust them. We were put on this planet with a blueprint for our lives. And that blueprint was for us to be the brightest, biggest light that we could possibly be in this lifetime. And that blueprint is carried with us, and the things that we think about, all of our dreams, all of our, passions, our talents, they all funnel into this particular blueprint. It's not a fucking accident. Excuse my French. It's not an accident that we're drawn to certain things. It's not an accident that I've had all my butterfly experiences, and I haven't even told my butterfly story to you guys yet. So that's coming. But this is not a coincidence for me. It's why I brought it into my life, because it's something that keeps showing up. What is something that keeps showing up in your life that you can't stop thinking about, and you want to push it away, you want to deny it, but this is exactly what was made for you. It was made for you to pursue it. The other thing is, if you have blocks that are stopping you from pursuing these things, a lot of times it's not even our own voice we're listening to. So be wary of that. Is that your mom talking? Is that your dad talking? Is that your, sister talking, who's always been, so critical of you? Is it society talking? Pay attention to, is it truly something that you believe? We need to learn to look at every single belief in our lives and put it up against truth and really ask yourself, is this true? Because a lot of times it's bullshit. A lot of times it's just something that we convince ourselves is true, that we're not capable, that we're not good enough, that, it's not going to work out. Because here's the truth, you guys. We live in a quantum universe. When we choose to step into our power and our passion, we are actually forging a brand new path. So what we thought would work before or would happen, it always happens that it doesn't work out for me. But then if you drop that self-sabotaging thought, step into your passion, your purpose, your fire, your truth, you are actually setting in motion opportunities that you can't even envision right now. And they start to pop up like popcorn. The universe has no choice but to align behind a woman who has made up her mind. I posted that on Instagram the other day. And it is so true. As soon as you decide, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, things that you never would have imagined as opportunities pop up, because the universe is finally like, oh, good. You're paying attention. Colleen's been paying attention. Colleen really wants to step into her blueprint. Okay, Colleen, here's this opportunity and this opportunity and this one. Just this past weekend, I was working at the Healthy Living Expo. I did 50 readings, probably, aura readings. I was given that table in exchange of a barter where all I did was interview 6 people who were going to this event and put that out there for others to watch to spread excitement about the event. And that was really fun. And I still got a free table and I still got to do the 50 readings that allowed me to now have 50 new emails on my email list, which will allow me to then share my exciting new opportunity with them. And some of them are going to jump on board. And then none of that would have happened if I was just over here putzing around at my old catering job that don't get me wrong, I loved, but it didn't fulfill my blueprint. What is your blueprint? What is your truth? What is your thing? Because whatever it is, it's meant for you. It's waiting for you. The universe is waiting for you to step into it. And you might not be able to, see what's going to happen. You still have to take that leap of faith. That leap of faith is what undermines all things in our existence. If any of you are familiar with the tarot, there is the card, the Fool, and it is a 0, which means it is the one card that doesn't have a position in the progression of the major arcana, because it actually exists between each stage in our lives, is the heart-driven explorer. The Fool has a flower in his hand. His heart is up to the sky. He's just so inspired by life, smelling the scent of flowers on the breeze. And little does he realize he's right near the edge of a cliff. And you guys, in life, we come right up to that edge of that cliff sometimes. And it's scary. It is scary. But the thing is, okay, honey, 1 second. Just a minute. We'll wash it in a minute, okay? Can you wait till the clock turns green, please? Thank you. Oh my God, he's so cute. He's just about to go off that cliff, but he's got a little doggy at his heels, and that dog won't let him fall. There's always something in your life that won't let you fall. And failure actually is kind of part of it, okay? There's a part of me that looks at my Arbonne career and okay, thank you. He's going to close the door. There is a part of me that looks at my Arbonne career and goes, I didn't get to RVP yet, so I probably really didn't, it wasn't really a success. But look at where it's brought me. Just taking that inspired action, taking that one step towards one thing that feels good, whatever it is, it's going to teach us. It's going to transform us. It's going to bring us that much closer to the person we want to become. Small steps. So the other thing is, when we don't do it, when we just ignore that calling, it becomes a stuck mental energy in our field. And it becomes a blockage. It becomes an obstacle. And that obstacle, and I've talked about this before, it's almost like a scar on our bodies, or a sore or a cut. And we, by ignoring it and pretending it's not there and not treating this wound, it only festers and gets worse. But when you bring attention to the wound, when you notice this is a thing that's stopping me, instead of ignoring it, I'm going to go into it. Instead of ignoring the wound, I'm going to treat it with some love. Okay, well, what's stopping me here? Why do I feel like I can't move forward? Oh, because when I was in 5th grade, so-and-so called me meatloaf. It's true. Actually, I used to get called meatloaf. And then I look back, I'm like, it was about him. He had a crush on me. That's all it was. But it's little things like that stick in our awareness and that create a blockage. And we need to learn to integrate that back into ourselves and put attention there so that the obstacle can be dropped and we can move forward. So that's that's what I look at. I might be moving to Maine, for those of you who didn't know that already. That's a bomb I just dropped. I am, in situations, relationships, things that are happening that scare me, like actually scare me because of the power and the passion that I feel towards these things. And yet I'm going to go into them, because the second that I walk away from my passion and my power and what makes me excited and what scares me, because fear and excitement are very closely linked. The second that I step into them, things do start to unfold. And the power behind them is so much more potent than when we sit back on the sidelines and say, I'm just going to watch TV again tonight. Yeah. And it's okay to watch TV once in a while, but not if it means you're not pursuing your dreams. You have an obligation in this lifetime. This life is so short. You have an obligation to shine your light as bright as you possibly can. And the only way to do that is to follow your heart, follow your dreams, follow your inspiration. And sometimes life looks like it's not supporting you in that, and I completely get it. But what we're not realizing is those things that look like they're holding us back are often exactly what we need to stay grounded, exactly what we need to stay on our path, and they color us to become the people that we are, that are so powerful. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching today. And we almost didn't get interrupted. It was very slight, but stay tuned. If you're not on my email list, let me know so I can add you. I've got some exciting things coming that I only share to that tribe. So I definitely want to make sure you're on there. You can also just go to thewealthylightworker.com and you can sign your stuff in that way, and you'll be added in. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful, blessed day. I will hopefully, I know I'll see you tomorrow, but I'd love to hear from you today as well. Bye.